Welcome to the Massage Business Success Podcast. My name is Amy Bradley Radford, and I help solopreneurs just like you learn how to do it all. I teach you how to earn $60,000 a year or more at the table, while also providing you with the continuing education you need to be successful without burning yourself out. I'm a board-certified massage therapist and have been practicing massage therapy for over 30 years, and I'm a nationally approved continuing education provider for over 20 years. I had my monthly business column in Massage Magazine called Advanced Business Strategy for many years, where I was able to share all kinds of tips about how to have a successful business with business owners just like you. I have also developed the Pain Patterns and Solutions modality, where we learn how to apply non-inflammatory therapeutic massage techniques to create real pain relief that lasts. Now, if you're ready to help your clients and make money at the same time, let's dive in. Well, hello, my lovely healers, feelers, and quietly fierce leaders. It's Amy Bradley Radford here, and today's episode is more than just a topic. It's a gentle nudge. It's the thing that maybe you've been trying not to think about in between clients and paperwork and trying to remember if you drank enough water today. It's that quiet, uncomfortable moment when you look at your business and you think, this doesn't feel like me anymore. And this is not a dramatic reality show, storm off kind of way. It's more whispery and tender and deep in your belly. And it says, I've changed. And I don't think this version of my work has kept up. So today's episode is all about the permission to change. I put this episode together for anyone who's built something with love and grit and lots of sleepless nights and our oil-soaked fingers and clothes and our intuition, and who's now starting to feel that discomfort and that disconnect, where what used to energize you now feels just a little heavy. What once made you feel all lit up now makes you feel kind of flat and maybe just a tad resentful. So today, I'm not here to tell you to burn it all down. I'm here to remind you that you're allowed to evolve, that change is not a failure. It's actually just part of our journey, and that your business isn't meant to be a monument to who you were. It is actually meant to be a mirror for who you're becoming. So how do you know you've outgrown the quote unquote old business model? So let's just talk about this for a minute. How do you know when something no longer fits, especially when that something is the thing you poured years into building, such as your massage business? How do you know you've outgrown it? And it's sneaky. It kind of sneaks up on you. Sometimes the signs are really subtle and you can kind of ignore them for a while. And then sometimes they show up like someone took a wrecking ball to your schedule with no shows and double bookings, and way too many appointments, and nothing in control anymore. And I think that's the number one thing that happens when we feel turmoil inside. It manifests in our schedule. You think about that. Think about the times of your life where you were really stressed out, and then all of a sudden, all that confusing energy that went out of you that's now coming back to you, and it shows up inside your schedule. But here are some other ways that it can show up. Number one, your body will speak it. Your body speaks this first. You will feel a heaviness, a weight going into your workday. Even though you're doing exactly what you love and you love massage, you wake up feeling like you're already behind. And your nervous system kind of flinches every time you hear your texting, like, oh gosh, I just don't want to deal with anybody today. Have you ever felt this way? Or you start getting little tension headaches on Wednesdays. Why? Because that's the day you made the choice to stack 6 clients back to back. And you've been promising yourself you would change it, but you haven't changed it because you don't know where to put the clients and you don't know what to do, and you still have to work that many sessions, but you don't know where to maneuver your schedule to not feel like you're drained. This is your body keeping score, by the way, because it doesn't lie. So number 2, you feel drained after a full day, but not the good kind of tired. There's a tired like, wow, this was such a big day, but I feel so fulfilled. This was a successful day for me, and while I used a lot of energy, I still have energy for me at the end of the day and my personal life. And then there's the I want to cry in the bathtub and not speak to anyone for a week, tired, or how much chocolate can I consume or sugar because I just feel so exhausted from dealing with my clients or my business or not dealing with my clients and business that I don't really even know what to do. So these are not random feelings. It's your intuition whispering, hey, there's more. There's more to this business. There's more to you. And you keep denying this growth for yourself. So, what's really important here is you're not wrong for evolving. In fact, if you're in this work, this massage work, if you're in the healing arts, evolution is inevitable. Every client changes you. Every failure or success with a client, every transformation you witness, all stretch your capacity. And every burnout teaches you something you can't ignore. We all try to become better in each session. We take continuing education classes so that we can improve, so that we can learn the next skill for that one client that we're struggling to find a solution for. We evolve, and our businesses should evolve with us. And when they don't, there becomes a problem inside of us that we can't quite identify and we don't exactly know what to do, but we sit in this space, sometimes for months, sometimes for years. But I can tell you that the longer you stay in this space, the sooner you're going to burn out and quit. So here is the double-edged sword of growth, which I call the guilt and the grief of letting go. So let's get to this part that's kind of really tender. And this is a part that no one really warned us about. And it's letting go of the business you built, whether fully or in part, brings up a lot of grief. It brings up a lot of fear. And sometimes it's overwhelming grief and fear. Because I'm not saying you're quitting your business, but there's times when you need to grow your business to make it into something that doesn't even look like what you're doing right now. And that growth, those steps of growth are hard. All of us like what's comfortable and everything that we know. None of us like to really push forward into the unknown. We want stability. We want our little boundaries and our walls, especially when you're a business owner in a service business because you put it all on the line in the beginning. It was hard. It was scary. And we don't want to return to that space or that energy. So sometimes even thinking about growing makes us panic. But inside, we know we need to grow, and holding ourselves back creates a lot of grief. I understand how you built this thing with your whole heart. You were 100% in to make it run. You stayed late. You did evening appointments. You sacrificed your weekends. You said yes when you should have said no. And, you did things like figuring out your taxes and bookkeeping all on your own personal time. You spent late nights at the computer learning how to run the computer and then the program. You poured everything you had from love and energy and healing intention into every inch of your business to make it what it is. And now you're realizing that something needs to shift. And it's not just a strategy change that creates this feeling. It's a loss. It's a loss about letting go of what's comfortable and moving into what isn't comfortable and having that fearful heart that comes into it that you want to avoid. And then there's the guilt. And it's the guilt that you will have to leave some people behind. It's guilt that some clients won't understand why you're raising your rates or letting go of a service they really enjoy because you don't enjoy it anymore, or even shifting to only working 60 and 90 appointments because you listened to the power of the hour from Amy and you now know that to truly maximize your time, you've got to standardize your session time length. And you are doing that, but you're also letting go of those 30-minute appointments because they don't serve you, but somebody is still in those 30-minute appointments. And there's guilt. There's guilt that you are basically not making yourself available to that client anymore and you're letting them go. You're not firing them. You're letting them go because it doesn't fit who you're changing into. And just the look on the client's face when you tell them that you're changing, it's hard. And this is what you've been avoiding. This is why you don't move forward. This is why you don't evolve and really chase your true value, because you don't want to upset or hurt those clients that aren't going to be able to follow you. And there's also guilt about declaring you are worth more. And sometimes we look around ourselves and think, well, am I really worth that? It kind of feels a little egotistical, and leaving behind maybe some colleagues that are in your office with you, setting a different standard for yourself. And what are people going to think? I'm not part of this crowd anymore. I'm putting myself above them. And sometimes there's guilt for thinking that you are actually worth more when you are worth more. But I want you to have this truth, this one truth that I'm going to tell you, and that is, staying in something you've outgrown out of guilt or fear is not being loyal to your clients or yourself or the people around you. It's actually self-abandonment. You are setting aside what you know you need for growth and to truly evolve into who you want for somebody else, for a lot of somebody else's. And there's only so long you can stay in that space before it really starts to impact you. It's interesting. I've worked with a lot of people who just were on the fast track to building their business, and they got that full clientele. They were booked out months in advance. And right when their business was the most successful from the outside looking in, they walked away from it. And you look at that and think, oh my gosh, why would you do that? Give me your business. For those of you that are thirsty for some clients, you just can't even imagine why they would do that. And this is why. They stayed in a place where they weren't comfortable, but they were afraid to grow and change. And because they stayed in that space for so long, they could no longer do it. So I want you to understand that as a coach and as a massage therapist and as a business owner and a colleague of yours in this industry, I'm giving you full permission to shift. You are allowed to shift in your business, in yourself. You are allowed to raise your standards. You are allowed to evolve your business model without really having to explain it to anybody. I think that's something I have to coach people through, are the words that they use to tell people they're changing, that aren't apologizing or trying to say, well, the economy is costing more, so I have to raise my prices. It's none of that. It's just, hey, you know what? I'm happy to announce that here are my prices, and I'm moving forward, and I've created new experiences for you, and just to do it in a positive way instead of trying to find an excuse for it. You don't owe anybody an apology for taking care of yourself. You don't. And let me say that again for the people in the back of the massage rooms. You don't owe anyone an apology for honoring your evolution and growth in business. So letting go is not the same as giving up. It's graduating. It's releasing an old identity so you can step into the new one that fits who you are right now, not who you were. And if you're feeling guilty and you're a little scared, that's good. Because really what it means is you care. It means you're not numb. It means you're alive. It means you're doing the best for your clients and yourself at the same time. And it's a good thing. What I want to tell you right here is, I'm speaking from experience, you don't have to burn it all down. You don't have to destroy everything. You don't have to walk away from everything. There are answers. There are answers and steps that you can take to get where you want to be. And we're going to kind of outline some of that and how you can do that for yourself. So here's where we go from the tender part, all of the feels, to being practical, which is more of who I align with. Because, our first instinct when we feel this misalignment we can feel it, but we can't always identify it, but we start to panic a little bit. We think something's wrong. And then when we understand that we need to change our business model, but we're kind of unwilling to do it because we're scared or we feel guilty, our very first thing is to put ourselves in something completely different. And so then we start Googling new careers, right? Or maybe we start putting a resume together at midnight because we just don't know what else to do. Or sometimes we get on social media and say, I just need to take a break. But really, what all of this means is we're trying to run away from our problems and we can run so far away that we destroy our businesses. So you don't have to, change does not mean demolition. Change means moving forward. So you don't need to throw it all away. You just need to edit it a little bit. We're going to talk about editing your business while you're running it. So some of those edits can be reducing your client load. Truly, I can't tell you how many people I talk to that say, Amy, how do I make the same amount of money but work less? I just can't see this many bodies again. And that all ties into, the number one question, and that's how do you raise your prices? But it's more than that. It's about honoring yourself and realizing that to bring the number of massages down that you're doing, you're going to have to take the cost of it up in order to find that sweet spot, that perfect place where work validates you again and you're not so tired when you're working with people. Maybe it's about changing your schedule. This is another reason why people reach out to me is they don't want to do evenings and weekends anymore. They want to move their schedule up, but how do you do that? How do you take that whole clientele that has to come in after a work day or weekends because they can't make it? How do you shift all of that and change it into something that fits your body's rhythms and what you want and not the original business plan you started out with? Another thing is retiring outdated services. Some of the things that we started with or we thought we needed or we just totally guessed on our business plan about because we just copied somebody else's off the internet, some of those services don't fit you. They no longer reflect who you are or bring you joy. Have you ever thought about letting a service go because you just literally can't repeat that again? It's not who you are and what you want to do. I had a woman that I was working with, and she had me look over her menu of services, and she had other people working for her. But you got on her website, and there was like 18 or 19 different services that you could actually select from. That's a lot of confusion for clients sometimes if they don't really know what they want. But even more than that, how do we wear all those hats? You and I both know that there are a few skills that we really excel at or we really enjoy. So why not take those skills and make our business just about that and our clientele just about that and letting the others go? How do you actually create that edit into your business to do that? Or maybe it's about creating space for what's calling you, even if you don't know what that is yet, because maybe massage is evolving into something else for you. Still in the massage world, but maybe something else. It can also mean saying no to gift certificate sales. You don't need any more clients, so you're not going to sell them anymore. Or maybe get rid of punch cards because you don't want to deal with those anymore. Or how about moving to a new space because you want to start fresh and really thinking that through about how you're going to make that happen and finding the place and creating the change and updating all your address stuff. It can mean just moving so that you like where you go to work every day. And as hard as it can be, it can also mean saying goodbye to long-term clients whose energy no longer aligns with yours instead of trying to constantly align yours with theirs. So you don't have to burn it all down. You just have to stop pretending it still fits. And that's what you're doing when you feel that desire inside to change and then you walk away from it because it's just too much. You're pretending that you still fit in this model and you don't. So yes, it might make people uncomfortable, but that's okay. The people who truly value you will adjust. And I'm going to I'm going to say this right now. All of us have a handful of clients, maybe just one, maybe three, that that they would be better suited with another therapist, that they need to leave your services and find someone else. And those people are not aligned with you anymore. Creating this change usually allows those people that aren't aligned an exit strategy. It's not always about you not being able to work on everybody. Sometimes change just opens the door for people to move on, but other people to move in who are better aligned with you. So really, it's okay. The people who truly value you will adjust. They will grow with you and bless you from afar if that's what they need to. And the rest, well, the rest were probably more attached to your role as just a massage therapist than they were to your soul. And I don't care who you are as a massage therapist. We pour our souls into the people that we work on, which makes this even harder, just a little bit even harder. So you have to have a lot of clarity and you have to ground yourself in order to continue to move on this path of growth in a way that serves you and your clients together. So, we're going to talk a little bit about realignment versus reinvention. So, let's define those terms just a minute. So, realignment, think of it like a good overall therapeutic massage that we're given to our business. So, it's subtle, but it's powerful. And if we're consistent, it creates great changes for us. So you're still working within the same general framework that you're going to be doing, but we're just going to start making it fit you better. That's realignment. So some examples of what this could look like, could be, how about maybe updating your website to use your own images working at the table, pictures of you, or have text in more of your actual voice and not just chat GPT. Like, let it be really who you are and your new pricing. Put it out there so people can actually see it on your website. Another part of this might be sitting down and really thinking about your intake process. And you know that you'd like to change some things because you're still using the same paperwork that you got when you got out of school. And you know that there's other questions you've started using that help identify different things with clients faster or better for you, and they're more tailored to you. What about taking your intake process to create the evaluation process that fits you best and actually streamlines that for your clientele? That's about increasing your value right there. That becomes extremely valuable to you and your business because now you have speed and proficiency. So think about that. If you've been like in the back of your mind, it's like, well, I'd really like something different. Grab a hold of that thought and just chew on it for a little while. Or letting go of that one service that no longer lights you up and adding one that does. So actually creating the change you want, or go get that training you've really wanted and come back and don't give it away for free. Create a new menu item and let go of the ones that no longer work and bring in some new ones and start shifting your menu and your prices. But actually going through that process so that you are lit up during your workday, or shifting your niche toward clients who energize you and not draining you, or creating, an experience, maybe a VIP or a, spa day morning or something. Just creating something that tailors towards a specific group of people you want to serve, and then start bringing those people in. Those are all things. Those are all little edits you can start plugging into your business, making the small changes so that you start to feel like you're working towards more of who you are and the value you know you are worth inside. And just observing how those changes start to create peace and joy and fulfillment inside your soul again for the massage that you do truly love, but it's time to move forward. Now, that's realignment. Reinvention? So this one is a lot deeper, and it's one I am very familiar with. I have reinvented myself several times inside my business in the massage field. I tell people I get bored really fast, but it's not even that. There's so many parts of me that want to succeed and be fulfilled in different ways that while I did fight them in the beginning, I have moved forward into allowing these parts of me to be developed. And some of those parts are becoming a CE provider. I became a business coach randomly, but I love it. I'm now mentoring people with hands-on advanced pain management. I've been a writer. I failed English. I'm not going to kid you. I'm not kidding you. Didn't fail it. I just don't really like English, but I somehow ended up being a writer for Massage Magazine. And believe me, I'm thankful for ChatGPT now. And now I'm doing a little podcast, reaching out and talking to massage therapists because I believe in massage therapy. But I also believe that massage therapists aren't supported enough. And that's why I've reinvented myself into all of these different things, is just to reach out to those people that I know are there that need a little help to keep going in this field and truly find success and happiness. So some of the reinvention that could be going through your mind is I think I'd like to bring in some opportunities to teach now. I've been doing this for a long time. I think I would be good at passing along my skills to either younger therapists, not necessarily in age, but in the time they've spent in this career, or working for a massage school, or maybe even just going out and doing some teaching, couples massage or prenatal or anything like that. Maybe it's time to bring another side of who I am into what it is I do. It's not just my business, it's expanding myself and what I offer in different capacities. Another way that you might want to reinvent yourself is maybe you feel like you're being called to collaborate with the medical community in a total different stream of massage than what you've been doing, such as oncology or oncology lymphatic, and you really want to leave your table practice for what it's been and shift into this other business model and work with people in a different way. That's reinvention because it is going to change who you are, but it's something you truly want to do. Or even, and I have worked with people as a business coach where we coached them into leaving the massage career because it was time for them to do something else. And maybe you should pursue a backup degree for the future. There is nothing wrong with that. There's guilt with this one too, because you think, oh my gosh, how could I leave massage? I'm a massage therapist. That's my identity. But there are points in time in our life where it's okay. It's okay to move on into the next step. It's okay to go that way. And maybe you need to start pursuing that because you're planning to quit or you just need a backup plan, and that's okay. It is okay. I've had 2 hand surgeries and a shoulder surgery. People have talked to me about that and I still work at the table, but I am limited. I am limited in how much I can do because my hands are damaged. And it wasn't all massage that did that. It was actually stupid injuries outside of the massage room that then impacted my job. And when I had my first hand surgery, it was my right hand, and I was out of work for 9 months. I learned to reinvent myself in a hurry. And because of that experience, I started making sure that I had a backup plan because all of you know right now, right this second, listening to this podcast, that if something were to happen to your hands or your arms or your back and you couldn't go to work, what would you do? So it's okay to have this thought. It's okay to follow through on this thought. And it's okay to have a backup plan. So if you already know in your gut that you have limited time in this field, then start thinking about what it is you're going to do and start creating the reinvention. And reinvention is sometimes really quiet and sometimes it's really disruptive, like hand surgery. But I am here to tell you it is always transformative. Not easy, but it is. But here's the secret. Realignment often leads to reinvention. And sometimes the message you receive is, hey, you've outgrown the whole container. Sometimes that's the message you get. But again, not listening to what's going on inside really impacts who you are as a human being. And it really impacts when we go to touch somebody what they feel. So just realize that if you've outgrown this whole container, it's okay. It's just time to reinvent. And it's okay to be scared, but you can do this. And it's not okay to know the next step. So I can tell you that clarity, knowing what you need to do, comes from being willing to move forward, being willing to change, being willing to do different things. It comes from movement, just moving forward, from action, and from saying yes to yourself, even if you don't know exactly what the direction is, and listening inside and letting it lead you and guide you in your business. That's huge. It's hard. It's hard. Business is nuts and bolts, numbers and figures and expenses and income and all that kind of stuff. And massage is very artistic and we feel and intuition and all those things. And it's so hard to blend those two pieces together. But I'm here to tell you that the gut reaction to both of those is usually correct. So listen to that. Listen to yourself as you move forward. I think back to all the changes I have made over the course of my massage career. And now I actually appreciate the diversity, the different hats I get to wear, the ways that it expanded me, the ways that it forced me to do other things and to find out parts about myself maybe I didn't know. As I have said in previous podcasts, I came back 3 times before I realized that this is where I wanted to blog. I quit and came back 3 times. And that last time I came back, I knew this is where I needed to be. But I knew that being at the table was not all I wanted. I wanted to do more. So I just started exploring some options and really expanded on the pieces of massage therapy that I loved and wanted. And some of that was teaching. It was teaching right off the bat. Because I was willing to follow that, it has grown me and fed my soul all at the same time. So we're going to tie up this podcast. I know it's a short one today, but I think you all get the idea of what it is I'm saying. And I bet you were wondering how I knew what some of you were thinking and feeling, really. And I think this feeling as a whole really compounds for us in a negative way over time. There comes a moment when you knew you should grow and you hesitated. And you hesitated for all kinds of reasons. Many we've already mentioned, but you actually stopped yourself from growing naturally into becoming more than you are right now. And I think there's a life lesson in this, not just a business lesson, but knowing it's time to grow and then actually allowing yourself to grow, it can be difficult. So I know this feeling because I've experienced it many times in my business right before I grew. That moment of I could stay right where I'm at and be comfortable for a while, but I will be uncomfortable. And knowing that if I move forward, I will be more comfortable instead of uncomfortable. And being willing to follow that, that's hard. It can be difficult. But there are so many of the people that come to me to coach them, and they're coming to me to ask how to raise their prices. That's the number one reason they're coming. But that's not really what's holding them back from raising their prices. We can all raise our prices really easily. But there's a process that each one of my clients and each one of you has to go through to be willing to do it. The number one reason they don't want to is because they feel guilty. They feel guilty that some clients won't be able to afford their services anymore and that they're basically drawing a line on who can schedule with them. That is what holds them back. Guilt, fear, afraid of hurting someone's feelings, afraid of making that person feel unwanted on their table anymore because you made the decision to honor your value and it doesn't align with what they can do. There's that guilt. And if I were to give you the best advice I can possibly give you, is that not all things in life are easy. Sometimes you have to do what's best for you and let the cards fall where they do and let people go. If someone truly wants to be on your table, they will find a way to be on your table. It just works that way. And for so many of the clients that I've worked with, once they trusted the process and they trusted me and I stand by them as they do this and kind of hold their hand, then they realize that it's really not as bad as they thought it was going to be. They had built it up so big in their mind that they felt like they could never make that change because it was such a big problem that they felt internally and that it was never going to find resolve and it was just going to blow up in their face. And you know what actually happens is the clients come back and say, it's about time. It's about time you raised your prices. And the clients that maybe couldn't afford it, they look at you and say, it's okay. You're worth it. Even if they can't pay it, they know you're worth it. And so it's really about, again, allowing yourself to move forward. And it's not easy, but if you don't grow, I promise you, you're going to regret it, which then leads to frustration and mistrust of your business taking care of you. Like you're pouring all this time and effort into this relationship that doesn't give you anything back or gives you very little back. And after a while, you feel burnout. It no longer feeds you, it takes from you. And in the end, if this is you, you end up leaving all of your clients because you quit. So I want you to take a breath and just let this all sink in. Just let it land and settle. Yep, I knew what was going on in your brain that you didn't share with anybody, but you're not alone. There's many people out there that feel this way. So I want you to know that there's no rush to fix any of this. We don't have to majorly overhaul our business. We just need to acknowledge that it's there and start listening to what's going on inside and allow what we think is going to be best for us to come forward. So just sit with your truth and allow whatever's in there wanting to be heard to be heard. Here's your gentle coaching moment for the week. And I'm probably going to throw these little coaching moments into most of my podcasts because I want to really make you think. I want you to think forward and always be moving towards a more successful version of yourself. So, as a massage therapist, go get some aromatherapy oils and light a candle and turn on some really nice massage music. pour yourself a cup of tea, and I want you to sit with these questions. We're going to do a little journaling, or you can just listen to them and go ahead and answer them for yourself. Question number 1 is, what parts of my business no longer feel like me? You know what they are. Where am I holding on out of fear and not love for myself and my career? What are you hanging on to that's not serving you? What is, you know it. It has a feeling to it, and it's a feeling you're avoiding. What would feel honest, easy, fulfilling, and alive if that was your business now? What would make you feel alive? What would be easy to come and do every day at the table? What would fulfill you at your table, and what isn't? What tiny edit, remember we're making edits to our little business. What tiny edit could I make this week to support who I am now and not who I was then? You know inside you want to move forward. What is the one thing that would make a difference this coming week to make you start to head towards that easy, fulfilling, and alive business model? And our last question, number 5, if this was a friend of yours going through the same thing, what would you offer them? Can you take a step back and really look at the situation with a different set of eyes and maybe see something you weren't seeing? Because when we're so close to that situation going on in our life, we can't always see what it is we need to see. So take a step back and really look at it. Really see, maybe for the first time, some things that are kind of broken and what you need to do to fix them. So I want you to know your business is not a prison, it's a palette. I think of painting many times inside businesses and creation, because as massage therapists, we're very, very artistic. And so every opportunity is a blank canvas. You can paint this picture however you want it to look like. It is endless. The possibilities are endless. And doesn't that sound kind of exciting? To me, that sounds really exciting. I love knowing that I have the possibility to do anything I want with my business and turn it into something amazing for me, a reflection of who I am. So your evolution, it is not selfish. It's kind of a normal process in life in general and in business. But perhaps you just didn't know you could. You just didn't know you were allowed to change. So give yourself permission to change. And until next time, just keep breathing, keep listening. Your next chapter is already whispering to you. Now, if today's episode stirred something in you, if you're feeling the weight of your business that no longer fits who you've become, and you're craving clarity, direction, and a plan that finally feels like you, I want to personally invite you into a deeper experience with me. I have something called the VIP coaching experience, which is a high-touch, one-on-one journey where I help you reimagine, rebuild, and realign your massage business from the inside out. I walk with you as your coach step by step to help untangle what's not working, reconnect to your values, and design the business that you've been secretly dreaming about. You will learn how to structure your offers, raise your rates with confidence, create a sustainable work rhythm, and build something that reflects the healer you are now, not who you were when you started. So this isn't just coaching. This is business mentorship with a soul. If you're ready to make real change and you want a guide who's been there, I would be honored to walk that road with you. To learn more about this experience, you can go to amybradleyradford.com/VIP, and you can explore this full VIP coaching experience. Again, that's amybradleyradford.com/VIP. We'll see you in the next podcast. Thank you for listening. For more information about classes, products, or coaching, go to amybradleyradford.com. And if you've liked what you've heard, please subscribe and leave us a review.